Alright guys, so after I did a poll, I decided that it was very close between trio and duo. Decided on a like 4 to 6 small group kind of man base. Something I'll say right now is the cost of this base is up in the air completely to how you upgrade it. So I'm not going to have a standardized build cost for it. It's completely up to what you upgrade and where you upgrade and how you upgrade. It can be built from a starter, which is probably the best thing about it. The loot rooms and the rooms in general are completely left open. I've done some deployables here and there, but they're really up to what you want. I don't like showing anything that I do in particular because then people will just know where to hit. But you've got multiple different rooms where you can hide loot, or where you can have your good loot split, or you can have it in one spot. It really depends what you like. Now, the core of this design is based off something I saw Cohen do. Cohen's a ridiculously good builder. He is on the Builders Bulletin Discord that's run by Navy Blue and a few other guys. It's a really good Discord, so I'll link it in the description. He released a base a while ago that he didn't do a build video for, and this is very similar to that. I've always make changes that I like in my bases, but the core design is very similar to that, so I'll have his stuff linked below. As you can see here, things like bedrooms and stuff like that, I've left open to what you would want to do. I haven't done it on every single side because I was still kind of deciding and playing with it. And usually I don't end up with something that I actually stick with until I build it on a real server and I do what I feel like I need for the wipe. Apart from that, the power and stuff I'd probably do in the places that I've shown. They're pretty well protected, and power is pretty much everything when it comes to an online. Apart from that, these loot rooms can either be your main loot rooms or they can be your secondary loot rooms. It really depends. The bunkers are either a really good place to keep your loot and split it, or a good place to divert the raiders' attention to and use their rockets on, or vice versa. Either way, you can have your loot moved around the base however you want it, split up as much as you want. That's what I would recommend. Even though it doesn't look good not having all your stuff in one spot, it's probably the best for actually surviving an offline or an online even. Now apart from that, that's pretty much all that I think I'll need to explain. The build is very self-explanatory and you'll be able to see most of it from the footage. There is one little mistake I made at the start where I didn't show a outer triangle that you have to place, which I'm looking at right there for this little roof part. I do show you how to do it later on. I might just cut to it to show you, just so you don't make that mistake. But I do recommend that you go on a build server and play around with this, work out your build cost, work out how much you need to build what, and maybe work it out in stages. That's usually what I do. It makes it a lot easier to know what you need and when you need it. I'm going to try and do a build video every second week in between my PvP ones, so if that's something you think you'd like, hit that subscribe button. Let me know in the comments what kind of bases you'd like to see. I hope you enjoy. So that one part I made a mistake on was right here, where those triangles, 2 triangles are on the end of the base itself. You would need to do a square and triangle. That's so you can TC stack and do the shooting floor, and obviously you won't be able to remove those walls like I just did then, and you won't be able to place it later, so you have to do that before you place those walls. So on the corners there, you want to have those triangles, and then it is an 8 square out to do the multi-TC back in. Now as I go here, there's a few things that I do wrong or I change as I'm going. So obviously you need exits here, which I didn't add in the first part, but that's where you probably want to have them. You could have them single doors or doubles, it doesn't really matter. Now for these parts that go above the bunker themselves that can't be sealed off, I add a roof, but you would want to not place this roof yet until you add the bed on the side, which is where I do bedrooms. You could make that another loot room, but either way you would want to wait to place that roof until you have beds down if you do want to turn that into a bedroom. As you can see here is where I get to it and I realize I forgot it. So again, you'd want to make sure you do this before you put any walls up for your outer peaks slash bunkers. Now I jump forward a bit here, but I would obviously HQ your bunkers, and then I would probably do this layout, and you know, I would split my loot throughout the base, so I wouldn't put all my good loot here, but I would put a bit of it. as you see here, you'd obviously just upgrade it as much as you can, or ever how much you want to. That's completely up to you. That's why I'm not doing a build cost, because I want to make sure that I'm not giving a false idea of how much this base costs. Once you finish your compound, you'd end with something like this, which is pretty symmetrical. I like doing stuff symmetrical. Apart from that, you'd add obviously doors and stuff like that. I'll jump through some of it, but that's pretty much the base. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe. Tell me in the comments what kind of bases you want, because I'll try and do more consistently in the future. Hope you enjoyed.